My name is Natividad. I'm the president of US Advertising and Marketing Sales at TelevisaUnivision. When I think about fandom, obviously it's hard to not think about live sports and live viewing events. At TelevisaUnivision, we've represented the home of soccer for years. Even if I look back at the last year, we represent about 50% of all soccer consumption. And that's not just Spanish language audiences, but that is inclusive of general markets as well. Now, what's powerful and exciting about the fandom of sports, I call it the fandom of entertainment, really, is every once in a while, whether it be the Super Bowl or the World Cup, you have some of these moments that transcend generational barriers, demographic boundaries. And we know that if there's anything special about sports, is the fact that the viewing experience, the entertainment experience of sports goes well beyond the actual live event itself. We see a lot of fans, a lot of younger demographics reach out to their social mobile phones as well to share some of the highlights and most exciting moments. And that's a really exciting part of the fandom of sports itself. And for us at TelevisaUnivision, obviously, we represent a growing community in the US Hispanic audience. And that audience, as a lot of brands and agencies know, is accretive to the bottom line business results for a lot of advertisers. Now, what I'll say is through our household graph, we can access 99% of all Spanish language speaking households in the United States. When we take the time and energy to swap and exchange those data sets with the right attribution and measurement partners, what we actually see is a leakage of about 50% from third-party data sets. In other words, third-party measurement and attribution data sets are missing about 50% of the actual US Hispanic audience. What that means is we have to invest the time and energy in actually ensuring that the methodology and the pathway to conversion is true and there's fidelity behind the data in order for us to fulfill the needs and promises that we give to our advertisers. The way that I've seen partnerships evolve is most recently this year at CES, it's hard to ignore the growth and the rise in AI-based technology. Now, AI-based technology in the advertising ecosystem is actually not new. I think we've been using large language models to inform performance delivery algorithms for 20 years now, ever since the rise of digital advertising. Some of the partnerships with advertising publishers and networks, though, are going to occupy and apply AI through every step of the media planning and buying process, all the way from creative to real-time optimization to, dare I say, campaign management and billing. The reason why those AI partnerships are important for publishers like TelevisaUnivision to take on is because, one, it brings efficiency. And anytime we see efficiency, we give brands and agencies the opportunity to put more working media dollars back into the system, which ultimately is in service of the brand. What I like and appreciate is the democratization of creativity. You don't have to be a large mega television producer to produce your own creative video. Now, that democratization has only increased with the birth and rise of AI-based creative, and I think it's here to stay. Related to AI-based creative is the rise in short-form mobile content consumption. Micronovellas, microdramas have been well popular in the East for some time and are now starting to make their way to the Western markets. At TelevisaUnivision, we've innovated in this space, in particular with our micronovella series. I believe we're on the hook for about 100 new microdramas coming through our VIX short-form mobile app. Just this year alone, we had a very successful beta where we're seeing now upwards of 22 episodes of consumption per session per user, which is very exciting. And of course, now we're seeing brands come in like JCPenney saying, hey, we know that short-form mobile video was yesterday's news. Microdrama and micronovellas are on the rise. We want to be there. Help us produce. Help us be at the cutting, leading edge of this new form of entertainment media. And so it's been very exciting, encouraging to see brands now start to take that momentum with them. It's funny, I was talking with my peers this morning on a panel here at CES, and there was a joke about how selling used to be so simple maybe 20 years ago. There was a dinner, maybe a lunch and a handshake, and a relationship really carried the day. What I tell my team all the time is the greatest threat to our success is not another publisher or another sales rep who has a stronger relationship with a buyer, but it's actually the decision from the CMO to take what they spent last year and to go to their CFO and say, I'm going to spend 10% less. So the need or the responsibility to provide ROI, return on ad spend, and justify needed investments is even that much higher. What it means for sales teams is obviously you need to have strong relationships, but you also need to be consultative in your approach and much more knowledgeable about not just our business at TelevisaUnivision, for example, but your customers' business. How do they make results? What are the audiences that drive their bottom line financials? And how do you use your media partners to influence the pathway to conversion or the pathway to purchase? Thank you very much. And that's my take on where the industry is going and what's going to happen next.